In scenario 2, there are many explanations for Sarah's behavior and how anxiety, stress, and arousal all affects her performance. Firstly, we notice that Sarah seems to have an average for Van league games against Lewis of 32% scoring average, compared to her scoring average in local games and training sessions of 86%. A reason for this may be due to the league games. The league games may be seen as a stressor for Sarah. A stressor causes Sarah to feel more anxious. Another stressor for Sarah is that the college often schedule that crunch games closer to the end of the season, so that there is a larger number of spectators coming to watch. This may increase the level of stress and anxiety in Sarah, even more due to the rising pressure and more stressors like fans and having more spectators watch Sarah may cause her to feel more uncomfortable and her anxiety and stress level to rise up. As Sarah then becomes more stressed in her games, she interprets the stress as distress. Distress causes Sarah to have negative feelings like apprehension and nervousness. Distress can cause the level of performance for a player to decrease. Due to the increased level of stress and it being distress for Sarah, this may cause more cognitive, somatic, and behavioral symptoms to occur. One of these symptoms is her underperforming. The distress causes Sarah to play worse, as she is not as fully focused or concentrated, and is more worried what fans, coaches, and other players will think of her performance, rather than the performance itself, and thus she becomes distracted from the task, which is to score goals, and then she may start to miss clear chances and play badly. There are different ways in which Sarah's performance can begin to decline. Firstly is the inverted U theory, which states that performance will gradually start to decline if she becomes under-aroused or over-aroused. This means that when she is playing, she may start off with a high average of scoring in league games, and will convert most of her shots. However, as she becomes too aroused, she may begin to become more inaccurate and thus miss more shots. As she starts to miss more shots, she may start to become more sloppy in her play, and may not move around as quickly or as fast, and she may become lazy, and then she may start to give the ball away, she might start to give fouls away, and then miss more shots, until she starts to play extremely badly, which is when her teammates like Rachel are not very supportive and do not understand why she plays so badly. Rachel, on the other hand, interprets the build-up of stress as eustress, which she strives off of. She sees the crunch games ahead as a challenge, and she wants to win so badly, and eustress increases her motivation, and she will as a result play better. And this is the reason why Rachel strives on the atmosphere of pressure and stress, and why she receives the player of the game in these situations. Rachel's attitude towards Sarah may also be a stressor for Sarah. It may add to her anxiety and stress level, making her play worse. Another theory that explains why Sarah begins to play badly is the IZOF theory. The IZOF theory states that people need to be in either low or high zones of function to play at their optimal level, depending on several factors. For example, Rachel performs best at a high zone of function, in high arousal, whereas Sarah may be put in the high zone of function but plays much better in low zones of function, where there's less pressure, less stress. In lower arousal situations, such as playing in local games or in training. This may be because Sarah cannot handle the extra stress and pressure placed upon the performances during the crunch games. You could also use the drive theory to try to explain Sarah's performance. This is because during local games and training sessions, as her arousal begins to increase, she starts to play much better, and her scoring average of 86%, as there is a linear relationship between performance level and arousal, according to the drive theory. However, the drive theory fails to explain Sarah's performance during the crunch games, as she is aroused but plays badly, and the drive theory states that if she's highly aroused, it will result in good performance. However, it's not the case, and thus the theory fails to incorporate how if a player becomes too aroused, it can lead to too much stress and anxiety. Competitive anxiety may also affect Sarah's performance. This is because a competitive situation, which is the crunch games, and a mix of competitive trait anxiety, which Sarah feels. She will then perceive both of these as a threat, and thus will lead to competitive state anxiety. And we know that anxiety in high levels leads to a decrease in performance. Instead, Sarah should try to focus on self-positive talk and visualization of her scoring her shots, so that when she goes to take a shot, she is less stressed and is more confident in herself to convert the shot. Sarah could also try deep breathing techniques to attempt to regain her focus and concentration by the centering technique when playing her shot, so that she is less stressed and anxious, resulting in a better chance of her scoring.